When a client sends a request to the servlet application, step number 1, the dispatch servlet take the request, go back and see what is exact dispatch servlet contains. So what are the methods are there in dispatch servlet? Build local context, clean multi-pod, dispatch, do service, and also please take this. Dispatcher servlet extends framework servlet. Dispatch servlet is a class which extends framework servlet internally. The framework servlet, what it is doing? Public abstract class framework servlet extends HTTP servlet bean and implements application context aware. Please read on. Public abstract class framework servlet extends HTTP servlet bean, implements application context aware. Now if you click on HTTP servlet bean, it is important, ma'am. Please read on. There is a class, abstract class called as HTTP servlet bean class. Public abstract class HTTP servlet bean extends HTTP servlet, implements this. If you are able to see this one, right? Extends HTTP servlet. That means internally my dispatcher servlet internally implements servlet interface. Okay. Inside the dispatcher servlet method, we have inside dispatcher servlet class, we have a method called as init method. To initialize all the XML files, we are going to use a method here called as init method. This internally will load from our super classes or internally load from HTTP servlet bean class. Okay. The init method is responsible to load all the XML files, Spring XML files. Like ds-servlet.xml file. If you see here, ds I'm going to give dispatch servlet object here. So I'm going to give, that means it is internally, if I make it as a dispatch servlet here, it should load the, by default name is ds-servlet bean XML file. It will automatically to load the ds-servlet.xml file. Now this internally loads Spring Bean XML configuration files. What happened, Pavani? Now, dispatcher servlet is responsible. I'll give the notes. Don't worry. Don't take the notes. I will give the notes. Just take the diagram. Dispatcher servlet is responsible for it will load the different handler mappings here. There is one separate concept called handler mapping. We will see next examples. Can you hold on 1 second? Dispatcher servlet will pick one of the handler mappings there are different handler mappings are available here. So we have multiple handler mappings are available here. So what it will do, it will pick one of the handler mapping and it will try to make one handler. These are our internal logic. We will try to call one handler. From the handler, from the handler, it will try to look for controller. Control is our login controller. See, before login control, this much internal process is there. So once the login control is available, when the controller came login controller, the controller is responsible to send a request to the different DO objects or string beans or anything. Anything meant to say JDBC logic, we'll see internally what we can do it. This is like nothing but is business components. So we can say here we can call as EJBs or DAOs. Okay. Now from there we are going to interact with database. As part of our scenario, we are using as a bean component called as login model, right? From login model internally, I am connecting with the JDBC template. So JDBC template internal connecting with the database. Once we got the response, again the dispatch servlet is responsible for to view different view resolvers. We have multiple view resolvers. We'll talk about coming classes. What are different multiple view resolvers are there? So I can say here view resolvers. Diagram is very important, ma'am. Please concentrate. From the view resolvers, it will pick the data it will pick one view. So suppose view means what view we are using? JSP view, right? So I have different views are there, like I have XSLT view, I have PDF view, I have HTML view. I don't want this one. As per my configuration, I want to display only one view. That is called as one view. I am taking it here. So it can contain all the jar files. So this is the step 1. This is the step 2. This is step 3. And this is step 4. And this is step 5. This is step 6. This is step 7. 8. Sorry. 6, 7, and this is step 8. Now, once we got the view saying that successfully registered, successful login, I can send back the dispatch server is responsible to send back the response back to browser or client. Step number 9. Please take the diagram. Sukuna. Please take the diagram. You taking the diagram? Sukuna. The dispatcher servlet is the front controller for the Spring Web MVC applications. The dispatcher servlet is the front controller for Spring MVC applications. The dispatch servlet is the front controller for Spring Web MVC applications. The dispatch servlet provides a centralized access for various requests. A centralized access for various requests. To the application and collaborating with various objects to complete and collaborating with various other objects to complete the request handling and present the response back to the client. Here, there is a small concept called as web application context. I'm making a request via web application context. From there, it will go to XML files. The dispatch servlet uses web application context object. The dispatch servlet uses web application context object to locate the various objects configured in the Spring Beans.xml file. Spring Beans.xml file. XML configuration file. The web application context, next point, the web application context is instantiated the web application context is instantiated and initialize initialized as a part of dispatcher select initialization process. Dispatcher select initialization process. Next point. The web application context object is responsible. The web application on the object is responsible to locate the Spring Beans XML configuration file and load its detail to prepare the context for handling the request. When a client request is given to dispatch select, it performs It performs
given to
where you are right now.
the client when a client given to dash echo.
Okay. When a client request is given to dispatch servlet, to perform the operations. Point operation 1. First of all, the dispatch servlet makes the framework objects available. First of all, the dispatcher servlet make the framework objects will be available to handle the to handlers and views. To handlers and views. Handlers are nothing but this is the handlers. And views and this is the views. This handler step 4 and step 8. View objects, setting them into request scope. Handlers and view objects, setting them into request scope. Here, the framework objects are web application context, comma, locale resolver, comma, theme resolver, and theme source. This is the internal expression, nobody knows it. If you tell answer in interview point of view, you will be in a good position to select. Next point. And dispatcher servlet will check whether the request is a multi-part request dispatch servlet checks whether the request is multi-part request and if it is so, then it wraps the request in a multi-part HTTP servlet request. And if it is so, wrap the request in a multi-part HTTP servlet request object. Full stop. This is done only if we configure multi-part resolver. There is different resolvers are there. We are going to see in future classes. Very important class spring. We are going to cover it. Multi-part resolver. Next point. Dispatcher select request the configured handler mapping. Dispatcher select request the configured handler mapping. Configured handler mapping. This configured handler mapping. Which one? This one. This one handler mappings. To locate the controller that can handle this request. To locate the controller, step between 4 and 5. To locate the controller that can handle this request. Next point. The handler mappings are involved in a sorted order. The handler mappings are involved in a sorted order, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, until the controller is located. It means until the controller, that means it will look from the handlers, it will find out appropriate handler first, then it will keep look through the ordered handler mappings. It will find out which handler class has written controller logic. Controller is calling our controller here. Next point. The same point. The handler mappings are invoked in a sorted order, one after the other, until the controller is located. Next point. Dispatcher select delegate the request to controller. Dispatcher select delegate the request to the controller. Located in the located with the help of handler adapter. Last point. Dispatcher select collect the model and view object. Collect the model and view object returned by the controller. Returned by the controller. If it is null, then end the request processing without continuing the request delegation to the view. If it is null, then it ends with the request end the request processing without counting the request delegation to view. Without connecting. Continuing, sorry. It won't continue to view. It will delete from there only.
Chaitanya, can you repeat this thing after model? Dispatcher
Dispatcher
select
collect the model and view object returned by the controller. If it is null, then end the request processing without continuing to the request delegation to view. There are many examples on my laptop. I can share you. Let me fix this issue today. Then I'll share you.
Chaitanya, can you show me that second example where you have modified?
Which one?
Second one, web application.
Context. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next point. Dispatcher select request the view resolver. Dispatch select request the view resolver to locate the view that can prepare the presentation. Locate the view that can prepare the presentation for that request. This is the typical web application workflow. Internally, the dispatch alert is the main heart for Spring framework, Spring MVC framework. So without dispatch alert, you cannot do anything with that. Yeah, now tell me, Subhana, what you want.